Hope the sound's okay. I'm gonna speak a bit on the louder side because it's really hot and I've got the AC and a bunch of other noise going on. Right. I had somebody request that I make a little bit longer video. So I'm going to make a little bit longer video. Is there anything to talk about? Probably. I allowed myself to get excited yesterday, and I was punished very severely. I was all excited about this bike I had gotten. It's ready to go. The bike is perfectly fine, it just has a flat tire. The back tire is flat. So I went to the store, good old Freddie Myers, and I purchased a couple of tubes and a bike pump. Now I know. I didn't know before, but bike pumps can be, you can really fuck up a bike pump. I didn't think it was that hard of an engineering task to design a bike pump, but apparently it is. And the bike pump didn't work. It was a foot pump. It was Bell. I forget the exact model of it, but I got this bike pump that first it didn't, the nozzle, the Schrader nozzle did not accept the female end of the bike pump. Needed lube or something. It wasn't going in. So when I first attached it to pump up my bike, you know, you close the thing, and I'll talk more about the actual lever that you pull to close it, but you pull the lever closed, and it's supposed to push down the button inside of the nozzle. There's a little tab that pokes up that stays out when it's not being pumped up, so all the air doesn't leak out. So there's supposed to be something inside of the pump, the bike pump. When you pull that lever down, it extends that little piece and opens up it opens the switch, right? I'm not sure what that's called. But I started pumping the pump, and it did not pump. As in, it wouldn't compress. So I realized pretty quickly that the problem was that the nozzle, the bike pump part that sticks onto the nozzle was not pressing far enough onto the nozzle, and it wasn't triggering that little button. So I had to exert lots of force to get it on. And I tried this on the flat tube as a test beforehand, and I was able to get it on there and to put some pumps, put a couple of puffs of air into the tube, and it worked okay. Like it somewhat worked, and but then I couldn't get the thing off. I couldn't pull it off of the bicycle tube. It was stuck on there. So I messed around with it for a couple minutes, wiggling it, you know, trying to shimmy it off, and eventually I got it off. So I should have stopped there and just realized the bike pump was a piece of shit, but I didn't. I kept going. I installed the new tube, and then I I repeated the process. And the same thing happened, but now the tube is, you know, it's on the bike itself, inside of the bicycle tire, and there's not as much, you know, I'm having to deal with spokes and the, you know, all kinds of things interacting with each other. So wiggling the thing off is not as easy, and I can't get the proper leverage to wiggle the bike pump off. So I tried wiggling it for a long time, like 5 minutes, kept getting more and more frustrated. And eventually I just got mad. And I pulled directly up, and I kind of knew what was going to happen. Like, I was just really fucking pissed. This thing is brand new. So I pulled it directly up, and what happens? It just pops off, right? So the whole Schrader nozzle itself busts up out of the tube, you know, deflates really quickly, and that's that. And I was, holy shit, I was mad. It's difficult to get me to get mad. Very difficult. Extremely difficult to actually trigger me to releasing anger. But this got me really, really, really fucking angry. And I got over it after a few minutes of ranting and raving at Andrea about the ridiculousness of the realm. But the point is that the realm is fucking weaponized against every living being here. It's like Becky Barron says, it's consciousness abuse, consciousness rape. That's what this place is. It's the actuality of it. So, you set yourself up, if you're at real, okay, like if you're suckling up to the beast in whatever form, if you're, you know, doing the religious thing or illegitimately gaining shit tons of money and fucking a bunch of people over in the process, Yaldi feeds you, you know, he takes care of his own. But if you're a pure individual like myself, or doing the very best that you can be to not manipulate others, to not emotionally abuse others, to not wield positions of power, etc., then, you know, the machine doesn't like you. It does not help out. And that sort of thing that happened last night with the bike, it can easily be seen as an attack. And I let it be whatever it feels like in the moment. I don't sit there and cry about being a TI or any other that kind of shit. I don't care about the whole. I'm not going to get offended at the way this place is. But I will get really angry at just seeing how fucky things are. How you could design a product to work so badly, and it wasn't even. It was like creaking and scraping. The lever wasn't even oiled properly on the pump. It was already trying to break. It was just really bad. And then I went and looked up the reviews, and it had like 2 stars out of 3, and most people were saying it just broke straight out the gate. So what I'm saying is I allowed myself to break from my normal neutrality with everything, which is basically how you survive here. I didn't become neutral just because I was like, oh, let's be stone-faced stoic and not have any emotions ever. No, the fucking realm is weaponized against, and it's just a fucking loosh farm. So if you're sitting there and just allowing emotions to run amok, then you're gonna feel like you have, you know, like the women that pump breast milk. You're gonna feel like spiritually that you have all these things attached to your energetic body. You'll feel like you're leaking all over the place. That's what it is. So I allowed myself to number one, get excited about something, let down my guard, and you know, I was appropriately punished, and I wasn't able to ride the bike last night. It was a big disappointment, and that happened because I slipped up. That was an example of my vigilance. You have to be vigilant 24/7. And like I've said before, it doesn't mean that you don't get excited about anything at all. It means that you temper your emotional level internally to below the threshold of detection by the loosh harvesting machines. And then you're not fucked with. So it really wasn't the end of the world, but I got pretty angry. And today I returned that bike pump, that piece of shit, and got the money back. And then I looked up the reviews for the other bike pumps in that store. They're all Bell bike pumps. They're all horrible ratings. All of them have less than 3 out of 5, and people are saying they just don't work. Oh, and also, the way that the thing flicks the lever, it's anti-logical. With a regular bike pump, you're sitting there pressing on the other side of the tube to get the nozzle as far out as it can go, so it's not crimping and popping your tube. And it only makes logical sense for that lever, which locks the bike pump onto your tube, for it to press downward, right, toward the tube. It only makes sense to do that. And this particular bike pump, it's the opposite. So you're sitting there trying to hold the tube to your bike, and then you're trying to pull the lever in the same direction as you're holding the tube into the bike. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely horrifying. It was like if they said, how could we design this product to be as non-working as possible and to cause the most amount of annoyance and pain as possible. They succeeded with that particular product. So again, I got over it. I am over it. I learned my lesson, and I'm going now. I returned the crap to Freddie Meyer and got another bike tube. I didn't get a bike pump. I don't know how I'm going to pump the tire up. Maybe I'll find one on Craigslist or OfferUp or something, but I'll figure out a way to pump it up. Maybe I'll just order one on Amazon or something. But I'm going to get another bike. It's another Schwinn. It's old. I don't know the year of it, but it's pretty much broken and all fucked up, so I'm going to fix it up and make it for Andrea. And yeah. So Andrea was like, oh, Gary's excited about something. This is really nice. This is fun, Normally, he's always a stoic. And you can't, unflappable and all this stuff. And she was just like, I think she was kind of sad about it, because this is like the first time I allowed myself to get into a project in a long time. And, Realm is like just sledgehammer smackdown. Like, nah, you don't, you think you're gonna sit there and have fun in this place, eh? I'll teach you something. That's kind of what happened. Anyway, this is, I guess, kind of a rant, so, and I have to meet this person to get the next bike. I'll put a picture of this other bike that I'm getting for anyone who wants to follow the project, and yeah. I don't know. The Rome is fucked up. That's just all there is to it. The whole thing is weaponized, and don't wear a mask.